Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the instant replay right here on FYNTV.com. As always, we are highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way. And this morning, I'm coming to you from my office as BKP has done the last couple of hours talking about the local political scene. And now we kind of switch gears and talk sports. And we've got a lot of sports to talk about. Of course, a lot of regional stuff here up top of the show today. But moving a little bit later into the show, we're going to talk about region golf. We're going to talk about region tennis, track and field. A lot of postseasons underway this week. I'm excited about it. In fact, the Region 6 4A track meet gets underway on Monday. Today, if you're watching live, you're watching on Monday, Tax Day, April the 15th. If you are indeed watching this show on Tax Day, you're watching it live. And so when we talk about today, that, of course, being Monday, and the region track meet, of course, Monday and Tuesday for a lot of folks this week. A lot of things going on. And speaking of BKP, he's joining us in studio this morning as well, along with Josh Ross, our producer director. And we're going to bring Josh into the discussion today a little bit, too, over this next hour as we talk about the Braves, Atlanta United, a lot of things going on. The big thing from the weekend, and we're going to jump into this, too, is the Masters. Tiger back on top. Man, I tell you what, just an unbelievable story, a remarkable finish at the Masters, which Sunday's final round, of course, getting underway earlier, trying to beat the line of rain, the bad storms that came through the area over the weekend and on Sunday. And so an earlier start, if you were flipping on the TV around noon or maybe even that morning, you probably thought you were watching a replay from the previous year's Masters leading up to the live coverage of the final round. But that was not the case. Again, usually, when you turn it on that final day, it normally wraps up in the early evening, 6, 7 o'clock, twilight as the sun's going down. They're putting the green jacket on the winner. But with everything moved up, they were doing that yesterday at around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, again, it was an early start on Sunday as they sent the folks out in trios starting around 7:30 in the morning on Sunday. But just an unbelievable tournament. And BKP, I don't know if you've got any thoughts on this as well, but I want to go ahead and bring you guys in. And I want to talk a little bit real quick. I want to get your take because last week we left off talking about March Madness. It was that Monday night. We did the show that day. You and I both predicted Virginia would come out on top, which they did. But a great ball game, though, nonetheless, coming down to the wire. As all the games it seemed like did, especially within the final, within the Elite Eight, a lot of overtime games, and how fitting that the national championship game would also be such a game. You hated for either team to lose that matchup, but what an end to the college basketball season. March Madness, the Virginia Cavaliers winning that one. Let's get a quick comment about what you guys thought on that, and then we'll move on with the rest of the show. How are you guys doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, Dave. How are you? First of all, on March Madness, let me tell you what I remember the most about that night a week later. First of all, you're asking me to remember something a week later. I remember saying, really, overtime? I have to work tomorrow. But I tell you what, when you get into that championship game, both teams deserve to be there. That's why I think it's like the greatest sporting tournament there is. I just really do. I love March Madness. I love my college football and NFL playoffs and all that. But when it comes to college basketball, March Madness, when you get to that night, those two teams, they've done the work. They made their way through the brackets, and they deserve to be there that night. So hats off to Texas Tech. I enjoyed them. I'll say that. It's also a time when I don't pay attention too much to a lot of regular season college basketball, and I really focus in. And I got to learn a lot about Texas Tech's program and really enjoyed watching them. Virginia coming back, always a good story when you get beat. I think it was the year before, if I'm thinking right, got beat from a 16 seed, went in number one, I think, and was knocked out by a 16 in the first round. And it was a little bit of a joke, and it was a tough year for them to come back. It took a year for them to come back and say, okay, do you see me now? So Virginia played an outstanding game, just exactly what I expected. And when it got to overtime, that's when a team stretches out, whoever has the depth and able to go the distance. What say you, Dave?
Well, absolutely. And how poetic was it, as you said, that Virginia, just a year removed from that debacle of being the first ever #1 seed to lose to a 16, how fitting is it that they come back the next year and win the national championship and doing it very clutch? I mean, when you look at their last few ball games of the tournament, this is a team that, had a couple of buzzer beaters. This was a team that was down, by 5, with 17 seconds left in a game and was able to win it. It was a team that fought through a lot of adversity, a team that in the past would have choked. Remember, this Virginia team was there in 2016 as a #1 seed as well and got beat in the second round. So, again, they've had their share of tournament futility, if you will, over the last few years. So, for these guys to come back after last year, as you said, and to be able to win the national championship is it's truly remarkable, no doubt about that. Let's move on. I want to get your thoughts too, and BKP. I know you're busy with a lot of things over the weekend, so I don't want to toss you any curveballs here or anything and put you on the spot. But I know that if you're like anyone else, just casually moving around the sports world over the weekend, I'm sure you probably heard a little bit about the Masters being played. And, of course, yesterday the result with Tiger Woods. Not sure how you personally feel about Tiger. I'm sure you'll let me know that. But what were your thoughts? And maybe, Josh, if you could chime in as well a little bit, you guys and your thoughts on the Masters and Tiger winning his first major in over a decade, his first Masters, I believe, since 2008, I believe it was, or his first major since 2008. 22 years spanning his first Masters win in 1997 with his father Earl there to yesterday, 2019, hugging his mom after it was over this year. 22 years between his first Masters win and this one. What do you guys say about that?
Dave, first of all, the guy made a mess out of his personal life. I mean, people do that, and not to go down that road several years ago. And that really kicked off a lot of what the guy went through. So the media highlighted his personal life. That's a whole different story. And then he went through, I don't follow Tiger that much, but what I do know, he went through a lot of back trouble. I think he even had his back was infused. He had back surgery and had his spine there, whatever, infused. I mean, he just went through a lot of stuff physically, mentally, and personally. So those are three major challenges in his life to climb back in. I think we remember, it's not been that many years ago that there's a couple times he didn't get out of the practice round. That the practice round he didn't make the cut to even play on the actual day of the tournament when it started. So that is a good story. I like that story. So there's my take. I don't know what rock you're living under. If yesterday you didn't hear which hole he was on, a putt away, 2-stroke. If Tiger keeps it in the fairway, just keeps it in there, he wins. All that, it was yesterday. So congratulations. I'm happy for always Georgia, Augusta. Down there, I'm happy for Georgia and everybody that just enjoyed it, because it couldn't have gotten any better, and the excitement is blown up on social media. I guess rambling, I'm happy for the guy. It's a great story. People like a winner, and the guy has come back. And now, like Josh and I were talking earlier, Jack Nicklaus has, 18 majors, Josh, and Tiger is at 15 now, so he's back in the chase that we thought, several years ago was done and over with. What say you, Josh? I know you got something to say as far as this is concerned.
Yeah, I thought it was an amazing Masters tournament. You got the story with Tiger coming back. All these young guys that grew up watching Tiger are the ones he's competing against now, like Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay. So many things could have happened in the final stretch there. You had 3 people tied for second place, and one of the guys, Brooks Koepka, who won back-to-back U.S. Opens and the PGA Championship last year, if he would have made his putt on 18, we would have had a playoff today. So, I don't know. It was crazy for golf fans. Golf fans loved it. It's the highest rating for TV that the Masters have gotten in 4 years. So, Tiger Mania is back.
The let me ask you, Dave. Before we come back, let me ask you. As far as Tiger winning, you recall all those years when the guy didn't even make the practice round. So you can wrap up the Masters, you can wrap up college baseball, and college hoops, and get on to some baseball. But hey, you run the show; it's yours. What say you?
Well, I tell you what, there's a lot of things going on. It was a busy weekend for Atlanta sports in general, and yeah, we'll touch on a couple of those other things. We do have a full show of high school sports too that I want to get to, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. But the one thing I didn't realize, with Tiger, that first Masters coming in '97. For me, I guess being 45 now, I had forgotten how long Tiger's been at it. I thought it was just a few years between the back surgeries, and he hadn't been competitive for 3 or 4 years. We're talking like a decade. Basically, 10, 11 years since that last major. I had forgotten how much time had elapsed from us being somewhat Tigerless, if you will, or at least being competitive. As you mentioned, some of those rounds that he didn't even get out of to be able to compete. Didn't realize it was just that long of a stretch. He won his first Masters a year after I was out of college. I had forgotten how long he had been in the game. It's like you said, I'm asking you to remember something that happened last week. I'm the same way. I can't remember what I did yesterday, much less what I'm going to do tomorrow. So I feel like I missed a lot of years in there where I was like, wow, I forgot how much we went without Tiger there. But just truly a remarkable story, and one that's going to be talked about for a long time. Obviously, it's a big story nationally, but it happened in Georgia over at Augusta National, the most prestigious golf tournament in the world, in my opinion, certainly, and obviously, as Jim Nantz likes to coin, a tradition unlike any other. The Masters in the books with Tiger as the winner. All right, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about baseball now. BKP, I know you're not a huge I don't want to put you in trouble, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. You can clarify this if I'm wrong. I know you're not a huge Braves fan. I know you like another team a little bit further north, but and I want to get Josh. Josh is kind of like our in-house, Braves guru. But I want to get both you guys' takes on the baseball season so far. However, whatever direction you want to take it, y'all go with it. But the Braves with a weekend series, a 4-game split over the weekend against the Mets, so that puts the Braves right there atop the standings with the Phillies and the Mets. And Julio Teheran outdoing Jake DeGrom yesterday on Sunday's matchup there on Sunday Night Baseball, nationally televised. Josh, your thoughts on the season, and BKP, you chime in as well.
Well, I'm going to send it over to Josh. I've just got to say I'm not really following Major League Baseball right now. Between high school baseball and some other things, and just coming off the college basketball, I'm not really following right now the Braves. And you say clarify, and it seems like I got to do this every week. Braves fans out there, I'm okay with you, all right? I'm okay with you. Let me say this, Dave, okay? Braves fans, not to get you so upset, but you had the greatest pitching rotation in modern-day baseball. I'm a Yankees fan. All right, there it is. It's out there, okay? You had the greatest modern-day pitching rotation, and you've hung up one World Series pennant. I'm sorry, just saying. I'm just saying. So I'm not... I don't want first of all, I'm an American League guy. That's number 2, okay? I guess, is National League even real baseball? So that's where I'm at. So it's not just the Braves, I'm a designated hitter guy, obviously, right? There you go. So Josh, I'm going to toss it off to you.
All right, well, first off, National League's real baseball because we let the pitcher hit.
I knew I was getting in trouble for that.
When it comes to the Braves, they're sitting just half a game back of the Phillies right now. The Mets are also half a game back. Good news is the Phillies and Mets are facing off against each other this week, so hopefully they'll beat each other up and help us jump up in the standings. We've got a series with the Diamondbacks coming up, a 3-game series here at home that starts Tuesday. We're off today. Shaking up the rotation and the bullpen a lot. We sent Newcomb down, who was dynamic for most of last year, for us. He struggled with control early on, having a lot of walks. Gave up just 4 runs in that game Saturday in 1 1/3 innings. So he's back down to AAA. Snitker told him, look, we know you've got it in you, but you got to get this under control. It's up to you. In his place, Tuki Toussaint came up, and he will be basically thrown right into the 5-man rotation until something changes. But he's a great pitcher, too. We got him from the Diamondbacks, and he'll be making a start against them. So hopefully that'll give him a little extra motivation. But for me, I think the season's going well so far. I mean, we are only 3 games above 500, but we're playing good baseball. The offense is clicking, and I think the pitching is going to come around as we go and get some of these people back from injury like Fulte. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I was impressed with the weekend. Obviously, dropping the first 2 games, certainly not ideal. It didn't look like it was going very well for the Braves there, especially against a division opponent that you're going to see a lot this year. But salvaging basically the 2 weekend games, that 4-game set, tells me that this team is resilient. I like their lineup from top to bottom. Ender was actually hitting a little bit. Inciarte hit a little bit lower in the lineup yesterday. They had Ozzie leading off. So I'm sure that Snitker's still playing with the lineup a little bit, doing some different things. But, I like Camargo being able to come in. Culberson off the bench is always a lot of fun. He hit a home run on Sunday. So I think the lineup, offensively, we're going to be able to put up runs. I think, like you said, obviously pitching is going to be the biggest question mark for this year's Braves team. But, I'm glad that BKP finally – I know he's never hidden it, but I'm glad he came out with the Yankees, and so we know where he stands. But you know what? I can't disagree with you. I mean, obviously the Braves, with the rotation they had all through the 90s and everything, and still to only be able to put up 1 banner, trust me. I feel you. I feel all the Braves fans out there, only being able to raise 1 banner. Thank goodness we were able to raise that one. I mean, can you imagine if we didn't even have that one? We'd have been the Buffalo Bills of baseball for sure. So, again, thankful that the Braves were able to at least win 1. But they got it done, and hopefully we'll have a good series against the Diamondbacks coming up. Hey, a busy weekend of sports in Atlanta all the way around. Atlanta United getting their first MLS win of the season. That puts a couple teams behind them, gets them out of the basement a little bit. Of course, a 2-0 win over the New England Revolution. Both goals there by Ezekiel Barco, who, of course, stepped on the scene last year as a young up-and-comer. I like that we had a lot of chances in that match on Saturday. It looked like the offense finally got going a little bit. Joseph Martinez missed a few opportunities, man. He had a couple open looks, but Atlanta United still able to get it done. UFC in Atlanta over the weekend as well. So even though these are all regional and national things that happen, a lot of them, of course, centering around Atlanta. Of course, the Masters, as we talked about a few moments ago, obviously happening at Augusta National in Georgia. So a busy weekend of sports all the way around. And we appreciate you guys being with us. So we're going to get set to take our first break here in a moment, but we do want to remind folks that, again, this is just a highlight show. The instant replay is on each and every week, live Mondays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., but you can also watch the show throughout the week on demand, FYNTV.com, as part of our Team FYN Sports coverage. And we do want to encourage folks to follow us on social media as well. Again, anytime you have any information you'd like to share with us, you can follow us, share it on social media, or you can email us, and there's our information right there. Follow us at Team FYN Sports on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at FYN TV Fetch Your News, and of course our email, teamfynsports@fetchyournews.com. There's also a phone number there as well if you want to call and chime in if you are indeed watching the live show. 706-889-9700. Again, we touch on the highlights right here on the show, but you can follow us on social media for the full story. We've got folks on the ground covering sports here in the local area, because if it happens in North Georgia, we're all over it. That's what Team FYN Sports is all about. We're going to go ahead and take our first time out. When we come back, we're going to break it down county by county, and we'll start in Gilmer County, where the Bobcats and Lady Cats are going at it on the court, on the links, on the pitch, you name it, on the diamond. We've got it for you coming up. We'll do a little Gilmer wrap-up and talk about who's where and what's going on this week as far as region postseason is concerned. All that and more straight ahead on this week's edition of the Instant Replay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and LJ, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
We're all about truck discounts at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save up to $14,000 off new Silverados or up to $8,000 off new Chevy Colorados. The new truck inventory is huge, but the discounts are even bigger with thousands in savings guaranteed. So when you think trucks, think Days Chevrolet in Jasper, the North Georgia Mountains #1 volume Chevy dealer, where new Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Instant Replay. I'm your host, Dave Garner. Thanks for joining us right here for this hour-long ride. This is the only live online weekly hour of sports talk here in North Central Georgia. And we appreciate you guys being with us. We've got a pretty large viewing area, a large coverage area that spans into North Carolina. We've got some schools that we follow. You know, the Murphy Bulldogs, Lady Bulldogs, of course, having very busy seasons. We stretch over to Dawson County, Georgia, Murray County, Georgia, all the way down into Jasper and Pickens County, all the way up through Blue Ridge, into, of course, Hiawassee and Towns County, White County, and all areas in between. And so we appreciate you guys being with us from wherever you may be watching today. And we do want to remind folks, again, you can watch us live Mondays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on FYNTV.com, and also throughout the week on demand, as well as we bring you this special presentation of Team FYN Sports. It is called the Instant Replay. The show, we've been doing this, I guess this is episode 47 now, and we've done a lot of different ways. You can probably tell this morning I'm coming to you from my office. BKP from the office every morning. His office is the studio. Man, that guy lives in the studio, but we have the capability to be able to do this show remotely, and so I'm remote from my office this morning. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week, and I want to jump in now. We're going to kind of treat the remainder of the show high school sports. I mean, postseasons are underway. Region track and field meets getting set for this week, Monday and Tuesday. Region tennis, the Gilmer Bobcats and Lady Cats, again, with a great season so far. In fact, the boys last week wrapping up the Region 6-4A championship, and the girls, of course, finishing second. Both teams will host the first round of the state this week. So, again, congratulations. What a job by both the boys and girls tennis teams from Gilmer County. And we're going to have more on these guys, but great matches last week, of course, winning the championships. Love seeing the video, love seeing the pictures from you guys, love going on Facebook and following you guys. But we do want you guys to share with us as well. You can always email us any information you have if you want to see individual results, any special interest stories about any of these student athletes that we're talking about today. Email us at teamfynsports@fetchernews.com. But again, great job by Gilmer. Of course, the boys winning the region championship. Congratulations to the Bobcat boys. We're going to talk about some other sports in just a moment, but let's talk about some baseball as well, because I know that when we talk about the postseason, not everyone is necessarily going to be in the state. There's only room for so many. And when you look at this Gilmer Bobcat baseball team this year, you think, okay, well, these guys are definitely going to be one of those odd men out kind of scenarios because of the season they've had. They've been snake bit in a lot of ways. But this Bobcat team continues to fight, and they're coming off of a big sweep against Southeast Whitfield last week. And I tell you what, after just managing one run against Heritage last week, the Bobcats averaged 6 runs a ball game in that series against Southeast. Where's this offense been all year? Bobcats putting up some serious offense in that series against Southeast. BKP, I know you follow baseball, especially in Fannin County, but I know you got a little bit of Gilmer news as well. Let's talk a little bit to you about baseball so far this season, your take on Gilmer and all across the area. We'll hit Fannin, of course, in the next segment, but let's talk about Gilmer here, this segment, what they got going on.
Well, I think this year Gilmer has struggled. I think they're going to be one spot out of I'm not looking at the standings right now, but I think they're going to be one spot out of playoff contention. As right now, Gilmer's in the same region as Pickens, and if you look at the standings, 4A. Gilmer is at 1, 2, 3, 4. They're at 5 and 10 behind Ridgeland. They didn't have a bad year, but at the same time they're going to be one notch, looks like, away from hitting postseason on baseball. So that looks like where they stand, Dave. Whatever you may have following up on that. We have other teams. We got like 4 or 5 other teams in our coverage area that are getting ready to go to postseason. When are you ready for that? What do you want to do next? You're in charge of the show. You got to let me know what you're doing here.
Well, hey, you know what? I like to hear you say that, but we all know, man, you're the guy pulling the strings behind the scenes. So whatever you got, man, you share it with us. I do want to mention real quick. Well, let me mention this real quick about Gilmer, and then we'll jump back into baseball. And I want you to share some of the information that you have. Track, as we talked about this week, Gilmer, Carlos Cruz, certainly a guy to watch on the track side. Golf, traveling to Bentry this Friday to take on Pickens. Of course, talking about Gilmer. So another head-to-head Highway 515 showdown there for the Bobcats and the Dragons together against each other on the Lynx. And we talk about 515 matchups. Soccer, big match on Tuesday night as Pickens and Gilmer go at it at Gilmer. So a lot of Gilmer-Pickens matchups this week. It's the time of year you love because all this stuff is setting up towards the postseason. Soccer, again, Pickens, Gilmer taking on Gilmer, Gilmer taking on Pickens at home on Tuesday. That one going to be at Huff-Mosley Stadium as well. We talked about track, golf, tennis, of course. We talked about the region championships. Now let's go back to baseball. Gilmer, I know they're about to finish the regular season, hopefully on a high note as they take on Ridgeland in a series there. But let's talk about some of the other teams you talked about in BKP as far as a few other teams in our coverage area. I know you got some good baseball news to share with us.
Dave, let's start up in Fannin with the Fannin Rebels. I tell you what, I really enjoy watching this team because I've had an opportunity. I'm going to get an opportunity to have a doubleheader Friday night. You know, I do the PA announcing there for the Fannin Rebels. So we got a doubleheader East Hall, and we have in Fannin, you will see postseason. So let me say this: Fannin Rebels are 2 games away. They play East Hall, and they're 2 games away from their first 3A Region 7 championship. They're 2 games away with East Hall. But now the other night, and let me tell you about North Hall. I got to say this: they lost to North Hall Tuesday night. Now Fannin has won every series, every region series, starting with Lumpkin. Now, Lumpkin County is the only series they swept all 3 games. But when you get into Dawson, GAC, North Hall, Cherokee Bluff, they've won all 5 of those, 2 out of 3. So they've won every series up to this one, the last one, East Hall, they're going to play. They swept Lumpkin. They're 2 games away from winning the region. All right, outright winning it. Now, last Tuesday night, they lost 10-3 against North Hall. And I'm going to tell you right now, when they lost 10-3, I was in the booth and I was sitting there and I was looking, hey, this is a very well-coached North Hall team. This is a team, I think, a couple years ago won the state championship in 3A. Baseball, North Hall, very good baseball program. And I'm thinking to myself, this is not a team you go Friday night. I said this, and you take 2 games. You don't do that at North Hall. Guess what they did? They went to North Hall Friday night, and they won 12-1. Well, now they lost Tuesday 10-3. They won 12-1 in the first game, 9-2 in the second game. How about that for some runs? And we're going to go to what I call the fan cam. We have, and we appreciate, the Fannin County High School Facebook page, but we've taken a couple of the fans of videos on there, and I understand, think about this, Dave, 3-2, the count is 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. Let's go to that video, Josh. You know which one I want, right?
Oh my gosh. Get out of here. Oh, please get out of here.
That mean it's over?
All right, that was Hunter Gray, 3-2, 2 outs. Dave, bases loaded, grand slam home run. Let's throw up another one while we got the Do you have the picture of the team congratulating him on the way in? Is that I think I got one picture there. It came off there. There you go. There's Miles Johnson right there up front. There is the team, and you can see the back, the number 7. That's Hunter Gray coming up there, getting ready to touch home plate on a grand slam home run. Let's go to another home run. The bats were swinging there Friday night. Let's go to one more home run here. See if we can recognize this guy. Hey, Dave, there you go. There is 2 home runs there. And, you know, these guys are playing outstanding baseball. Matthew Shira got the win, and I have to look up. I want to kick it back to you for just a minute. I got to look up who got the second win. But these guys, let me look at the region. You got the region, the pick of the region there that I sent you over, Josh. This is how this region looks right now. Fannin's at top, 11-4, and North Hall 13-5. GAC at Cherokee Bluff. Now, there's something I want to say. Now, Dawson County has dropped down. Now, obviously, there is another week of baseball, so we'll see. But you look, Lumpkin, and I want to bring up Lumpkin County because we do cover them. Lumpkin's is next to the bottom there, 6-9, and then East Hall is, you know, they're the bottom. They're picking up the rest, right? So that is the series. Now, on any given day, somebody can win, but that's who Fannin has to play now is East Hall, 3 games. They have a game tomorrow night at East Hall, and then Friday night's a doubleheader at home for Fannin, and that is also senior night. They're going to honor the seniors. But look there, East Hall is who they have to play, their final series. These guys have won 2 out of 3 with North Hall, 2 out of 3 with Greater Atlanta Christian, Cherokee Bluff, Dawson County, and Lumpkin. They swept Lumpkin County. And again, I want to bring them up in just a minute. And that being said there, you could see Cherokee Bluff. I just want to throw that in. That is a new school that broke off of over there in Gainesville. That's a new school. And really, they are just a JV team. They're a very good JV team over in Flowery Branch is where that school is. It broke off from Gainesville. And they got a lot of the cream of the crop of the JV teams that moved over. The senior stayed over in Gainesville. So this Cherokee Bluff team, baseball and all their sports, are immediate contenders. So there you go there. And let me say this. These guys will win out. I believe they will win out their region, and that means they'll have a #1 seed, and that means in first round they'll be playing a #4, and they'll be playing at home. So these guys, East Hall this week, exciting baseball going on. Now, can I flip over real quick and then throw it back to you, Dave, because I also want to throw in there, I know you're going to bring it up in just a minute, but if you look at the 4A standings, all right, if you look at the 4A standings, you got Northwest Whitfield, 4A Region 6, Northwest Whitfield Heritage, Pickens is #3, and Ridgeland is 4. So it looks like with one more series to play here for Pickens that they're going to get in our viewing area. And I just want to get all these out of the way if you don't mind. But if you look at the Pickens County here, they've dropped, and there's no, I'm going to say it like this, Dave, there's no worse time for a coach to get down to this time of the season. They're playing good baseball. As we looked at last week, they were contending right up there maybe for a 1-2 seed, and they just dropped Northwest Whitfield, they dropped the entire series. They lost all three. You got a 3-0, 8-2, and a 9-0 loss. And then, as I said, that's why I wanted to bring up Lumpkin, a 3A team. They played them and lost 12-3. All right, they lost to Lumpkin 12-3. Hey, Lumpkin's sitting at the bottom there on 3A Region 7. Okay, just I'm making a comparison, but you know, 4 L's in a row, and now they have to go to Lafayette, and they got to play Lafayette, and they probably have to sweep and hope that other people don't do the same thing. You know what I mean, Dave? They're probably going to have to sweep here to get back to the standings. Let me go back to that real quick. Sorry to jump around, but I just wanted to highlight that while I had it. I mean, they're sitting at number 3. With Ridgeland also 9-6 and them 9-6. Lafayette's at the bottom, but you know, they probably have to sweep this and hope that Ridgeland, you know, doesn't sweep their next series and try to get that 3 seed. That being said, want to throw one more out there, and I'm going to kick it back to you, and then I'd like to get another chance to talk about Murphy in a minute. But looking over here, you got to remember Union, don't want to leave them out. The Union Panthers, where they stand, I mean, their region, they're looking at, they're sitting on, sorry about that. Hold on, Dave. I want to go back there just a minute. I had it pulled up here. Union County is sitting in the 4th slot. They're sitting in the 4th slot in their region. That is 2A Region 8. They're playing good baseball. If you go down through their schedule, and they just lost, I think they just lost to Lumpkin County. But if you go down through there, they've got Rabun County. They got 3 more games. They got White County, which they're playing tomorrow at White County. They beat White County 10-3 earlier this month, and then they have their last 2 games with Rabun County. So they're in the hunt for a number 4 slot. So I didn't mean to take up too much time, but let me kick it back to you, Dave. What say you?
Yeah, very competitive. I mean, when you look top to bottom in the regions, there's a lot going on. Pickens was a team that, you know, from the onset looked like they were going to be a region champion contender. But now all of a sudden they've hit this tough stretch here. You know, every season is filled with adversity, with ups and downs. You just got to be able to ride the wave. And right now the Dragons, again, looking to go out on a winning note there. Again, as you mentioned, 4 losses in a row, certainly unlike them. They have not really had a stretch like that all season where they haven't been able to pick up a win and be consistent. So again, you know, it's adversity, but right now they're still sitting where they control their own destiny, and that's where you want to be at this point in the season. Let's go ahead and take one final timeout, and when we return, we will continue this discussion, and we'll also talk a little bit about some other sports going on in Fannin County, Pickens County, and our surrounding area. Stay with us. Our final segment coming up right here on this week's Instant Replay.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on-site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ellijay, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
We're all about truck discounts at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save up to $14,000 off new Silverados or up to $8,000 off new Chevy Colorados. The new truck inventory is huge, but the discounts are even bigger with thousands in savings guaranteed. So when you think trucks, think Days Chevrolet in Jasper, the North Georgia Mountains #1 volume Chevy dealer, where new Chevy trucks cost less.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
At Ingalls, we have a very special family. A family of farmers, ranchers, and dairymen. Clerks, butchers, and bakers. Deli workers, pharmacists, and florists. We work hard every day to bring you the very best. And we'll continue to wake up every morning and work as hard as you do. This is our town, and we built this community together. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Welcome back to this week's program. In just a minute, we're going to toss it back to the studio and get BKP's final take on the things that we've talked about here today. Before we do that, I do want to run down a couple of other sports going on here. Again, we do appreciate you guys being with us on this week's Instant Replay. Again, Team FYN Sports always highlighting and promoting student athletes in a positive way. We appreciate you guys being with us for this hour-long ride. Busy week of soccer in Fannin County, boys and girls teams with several matches last week. Again, we're going to have more updates from the high school soccer pitch. Of course, Tuesday night, the big showdown between Gilmer and Pickens. Track for Fannin County and for 3A, again, going to be next week, the 24th and 25th. So a week early for Region 6 4A. Fannin getting set for their region track meet next week, as well as Dawson County and Lumpkin as well. So looking forward to that, and we'll be looking forward to all of the postseason stuff as we talked about. Moving into Pickens County, we just got through talking a little bit about Dragon baseball. Tough week on the diamond, obviously dropping all 3 games against Northwest Whitfield, who we know right now is basically the region leader, kind of the top dog right now. But then losing that matchup to Lumpkin, non-region game as well over the weekend. So Pickens has a little bit of work to do. They got to get their mojo back. They got a 3-game series against Lafayette this week, and then, of course, a doubleheader at home next Friday. So, or this coming Friday. So, again, a lot going on there. BKP talked about Fannin County. The Rebels, of course, with that big doubleheader on Friday against East Hall. And I'm actually looking to make an appearance, BKP, just so you know. I should be there on Friday night, hopefully. Golf in Pickens County. Let's go back to Jasper real quick, and then I'm going to throw it back to BKP. Golf splitting a match with Sonoraville. The girls won, and the boys lost on senior night Tuesday at Bentry. This was last week against Gilmer. Thursday on the road against Lumpkin. Soccer, as we talked about in Pickens, of course, facing Gilmer on Tuesday, and then North Forsyth on Thursday. Tennis played well, but they were knocked out of the region tournament. As we talked about, Gilmer, of course, winning the region championship on the boys' side. The girls finishing second, so they are both state-bound, hosting state matches this week. As we talk about track and field underway. If you're watching the show live on Monday, we can say today and Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, the region track meet over at Southeast Whitfield for Pickens and Gilmer, and excited about that. A lot of baseball here down the stretch to be played, a lot of things going on. We've already touched on regional sports, the Masters, of course, the Atlanta United, the Atlanta Braves. BKP, let's toss it back to you for some last-minute information from the high school baseball diamond. And, we talked a little bit earlier in the show about North Carolina. Do you know anything going on in Murphy?
Dave, yes, 2 things before I forget it. I want to get to the Murphy Bulldogs over there in Cherokee County, North Carolina. This is not my joke for Georgia fans. This actually came, this is from Josh. I will throw him under the bus. Tiger Woods, the only guy that could wear red and black and win a championship in Georgia. That was Josh's joke. Okay, and second, one last little note on the Masters. CBS knocks it out of the park. They just do. Jim Nance and the entire crew, they actually produce. That's the best sports production by far of anything that's done on TV. All right, moving along. Monday night, I want to make an announcement. Monday night at 7 o'clock. Not tonight, Next Monday night at 7 o'clock. We will be launching a new sports show, 7 p.m. Monday nights in North Carolina. We're going to start focusing on Western North Carolina. Jake West, our reporter. So if you go to Team FYN Sports, if you go to fetchyournews.com, click on Cherokee County, North Carolina, and then Team FYN Sports, you'll see Jake West, his articles there. He will be launching his own sports show starting Monday right there. He's, I tell you, the Cherokee Bulldog athletic program, all champions all around, girls softball, basketball, boys football, state championships, all the way around. And we're going to have the AD, I think our very first show, the AD is going to be with us, and we're going to talk about that rich championship history there with the Murphy Bulldogs. And saying that, they're setting in the Smoky Mountain 1A baseball standings over there. They're setting at number 2 behind Rossman. They're 10-1, and Murphy is 7-1 in the region. Swain County is 5-3. Andrews is 5-3, and then Hayesville drops down to 4-3, and Robbinsville 4-5. So they're sitting right there at number 2 with another. They've got another series left. Also, let me look at that really quick. I had it here just a second ago. Let me see. They have another series left. They're going to be playing. They're going to be playing Andrews, okay, and then the last series will be Swain and Rosman and Robbinsville. So they've got more games in their region, but they're sitting at number 2. So a lot going on for them. Again, if you want to keep up with Murphy Bulldog Baseball, go to fetchyournews.com and click on Cherokee County, Team FYN Sports. And Jake West again, not tonight, next week, Monday night at 7 p.m., live on Facebook, we will have a new sports show that we're kicking off. Dave, back to Fannin in just a second, and I'll get out of the way. These guys are stacking up. Norton, Kendall, Bryson Pack, Matthew Shira, you got Shira on the hill. You got Kendall throwing the ball. Tyler Norton coming in and relieving. Blake Rogers. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this is a solid baseball team. And I know I'm bragging about them, but I'm telling you, I watched these guys from the time they're high school freshmen, and there's a reason this baseball team is where they're at. They work hard. They work hard in the off season. They work hard year-round. A lot of them play baseball year-round, these guys here. And so we're going to see tomorrow night where they stand. They got to win 2 for a region championship. I'm done. I could talk baseball all day, Dave. I'm going to kick it back to you so you can close it.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, BKP. Great job today on the program. Once again, pitch hitting with us this week. And, man, I'm excited about that North Carolina show. I think, obviously, with the tradition, as you talked about, of Western Carolina sports, but especially in that area with Murphy, with Robbinsville, with Andrews, there's a lot to talk about. And so, again, Jake West, his inaugural launch will be this coming Monday, April 22nd. At 7 p.m. right here on FYNTV.com. Excited about that program as well as we continue to add to our sports coverage right here at Team FYN Sports. Excited about that. And again, a new show focusing specifically on that area of North Carolina in our coverage area. And, you know, we always talk a lot about our GHSA teams, you know, our Georgia teams, you know, with their area, obviously, primarily where we're stationed at, but obviously, of course, with a lot going on just beyond the state line there and being in our coverage area, I think it's great to have a show just specifically focused on that. So, again, good job, Jake. Congratulations, and good luck on that one, partner, because that'll be a lot of fun to watch. That's about going to wrap things up for us today. We have a couple minutes left right here to kind of bring you back full circle. Again, we started the show this morning talking about the Masters, of course, Tiger Woods. We talked about the Atlanta Braves, and Josh was able to chime in and talk a little bit. They've got a series against the Diamondbacks coming up, and still very early in the baseball season. So, again, we'll have more on that as we continue on here. Of course, you know, football, getting ready for the draft coming up. The NBA playoffs, of course, kicking off over the weekend. We didn't really even talk much about that. And a couple of surprises, a couple of first round, I say first round, really first game upsets, if you will, because obviously it's a 7-game series for these guys. But a couple of the lower seeds knocking off, going on the road, knocking off some of those higher seeds in the first game. But those are long series. Again, NBA will go through into the summer. You know, we're not going to know who the champ will be until June. A lot of people already feel like it's Golden State. But we're going to talk about NBA. We're going to talk about some of the regional and national stuff that's going on. But we're not going to spend a lot of time on that, especially right now, because we are in the thick of the high school postseason, really for all the sports. And even though baseball isn't there yet, all these games that we're playing over this week and next week are basically going to determine the pecking order and who is going where. So, again, there are a lot of things going on in the world of local sports at the high school level particularly, and that's where our focus is each and every week. So as long as there's high school sports being played, that's where we're going to spend the majority of our time. But we do like to throw in those tidbits regionally and nationally of interest as well, just because we know that's what you guys want to talk a little bit about as well. I know you guys can turn on the stations in Atlanta, Chattanooga, and so forth, and you can get that kind of stuff too, but we do want to do it our due justice, especially if it happens here in our North Georgia area, around our Atlanta area, and so forth. And so a lot of fun. Now, we've had a great show. We've had a lot of fun. Want to thank BKP for chiming in. Some great news here today. Good videos, man. We've got an inside guy inside the lines, if you will, covering our high school baseball, especially in Fannin County. We appreciate that. Josh, as always, putting together the information for the show today and directing. We appreciate you guys being with us. It's the instant replay each and every Monday live from 10 to 11, also on demand throughout the week. If you miss it live, you can always catch it at a later date and time on demand, FYNTV.com. That's going to wrap things up for us. Once again, we appreciate you being with us, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week. And remember, again, you can always follow us and get the full story online, FetcherNews.com, and also on all of our social mediums. Follow our Team FYN Sports crew as we cover area and we cover all the things going on here, because if it happens in North Georgia, we're all over it. That's how we roll. We'll see you next time right here on the program.